By the time the Filipino man in the crisp white Navy uniform feels the officer's hand clamp around his arm, 3 phones are already recording, and traffic on the shoulder has slowed to a crawl. "Don't move," the cop snarls, yanking him away from his car. "You're in a lot of trouble, buddy." The man stumbles, trying not to fall. His service ribbons glint in the gray highway light. His cover sits perfectly on his head. He looks less like a criminal and more like someone who should be standing on the deck of a ship, but that doesn't seem to matter to the 2 officers boxing him in between their patrol cars. His name is Lieutenant Commander Miguel Miggs Navarro, Filipino American, Navy officer, aviation maintenance officer, and safety inspector. He spent 18 years making sure aircraft don't fall out of the sky. He's led crews in the Persian Gulf, the Pacific, and more deployments than his mother likes to count. He's not used to being on the wrong side of flashing red and blue lights. 5 minutes earlier, he'd just been a guy in uniform trying to get to a graduation. He was on his way to the county civic center, running a little late but still okay on time. His youngest sister, Carla, was finally becoming a U.S. citizen after years of paperwork and interviews, and she'd asked him to wear his dress whites to the ceremony. "But a dramatic effect," she'd laughed over FaceTime. "I want them to call my name and see you in the crowd so I remember why we came here." So he'd polished his shoes, pressed his uniform until the seams were knife-sharp, and set out, proud and a little emotional. He even rehearsed a small speech in his head in case they asked him to say something. He was 3 exits from the Civic Center when he saw the car on the shoulder. An old sedan, hood up, hazard lights blinking weakly. A gray-haired woman stood beside it, looking at her phone with that lost, slightly panicked expression people get when they're not sure who to call. Traffic was heavy. Cars whipped past. Miggs hesitated for only a second, then flicked on his blinker and pulled over behind her. His father hadn't raised him to drive past people who needed help. He stepped out carefully, white uniform stark against the dull asphalt. "Ma'am," he called over the whoosh of passing cars. "Everything okay?" She looked up, relief blooming over her face. "Oh, I think it overheated. I'm supposed to pick up my grandson. My phone keeps dropping the call." "No worries. Pop the hood all the way. Let me take a look. I'm not a mechanic, but I work around engines all day." He was leaning over the engine, pointing out the coolant reservoir, when a pickup truck slowed in the lane, the driver staring. Miggs barely noticed. The driver noticed plenty. Brown man in foreman-looking uniform, because he didn't recognize military dress whites, standing close to an older white woman, gesturing at her car. The woman looked flustered, as people do when their car dies. From 1 second of wrong context, a whole wrong story bloomed in the driver's mind.
He grabbed his phone and dialed 911. "Yeah, I'm on Route 7 near mile marker 32, he said. "There's some guy in a fake Navy outfit messing with a lady's car. Looks sketchy. You might want to check it out." By the time Miggs had given the woman a quick explanation, "You really shouldn't drive it like this, you'll cook the engine," and offered to call a tow, the county dispatcher had already sent a patrol. The first officer arrived with lights blazing, tires kicking gravel. Miggs squinted against the flash, already reaching for his wallet. "Ma'am, step away from the vehicle," the officer shouted, one hand up in a dramatic stop motion. The woman blinked, confused. "Officer, it's just—" "I said step away," he repeated, sharper. He positioned himself between her and Miggs, eyes narrowed at the man in white. "Sir, keep your hands where I can see them." Miggs straightened slowly, hands visible, palms empty. "Of course," he said. "I can explain. What's your name?" the officer barked, ignoring his attempt. His name tag read Keller. "Lieutenant Commander Miguel Navarro, United States Navy," Miggs replied. "I pulled over because her car was overheating. Keller snorted. "Uh-huh," he said, "and I'm the Secretary of Defense. That's a nice costume you got on there." "It's not a costume," the woman protested. "He was helping me." "Ma'am, I'll talk to you in a second," Keller snapped. eyes never leaving Miggs. Right now, I'm talking to him. Miggs felt his jaw clench, but he forced his voice to stay calm. Sir, I have my military ID and driver's license right here. Permission to reach into my pocket. Slowly, Keller said. His hand hovered near his holster like he expected Miggs to pull a weapon instead of a wallet. Miggs moved carefully, exaggerating every motion. He produced his leather ID case and held it out. Keller didn't take it. Open it, he said, as if Miggs might be hiding a blade inside. Miggs did. His Navy ID with his photo and rank sat on one side, his driver's license on the other. Keller finally took the case, flipped it open, glanced without really reading, then rolled his eyes. This thing says Lieutenant Commander, he scoffed. You know that's a felony, right? Impersonating an officer? Stolen valor? I could take you in right now. It's not stolen, Miggs said, a tremor of frustration creeping into his tone. It's my uniform, my ID. You can call Naval Station Fairview, they'll confirm. Keller took a step closer, invading his space. What I see, he said, is a guy who doesn't look like any Navy officer I've ever met, hanging around a stranded woman on the side of the road. You expecting me to just salute and walk away? Before Miggs could answer, another squad car squealed up behind the first, adding more lights to the chaos. Officer Griffin climbed out, jogging over. What you got? Keller? Stolen valor, probably worse. Guy claims he's a Navy something. Got some fake card. Probably printed it at Kinko's. He was messing with her car when I pulled up.
Before we continue the story, let me know what country you're watching from. Hit the like button if you love this story, and please subscribe if you are new to my channel. Let's continue. You speak English okay? Griffin asked. You understand what my partner's telling you? Miggs blinked. I was born in San Diego, he said. I speak English just fine. Griffin smirked. Yeah, but do you understand it? He pressed. You're in big trouble, buddy. We've had scammers pulling this uniform nonsense before. Think it makes people trust them more. The older woman spoke up, voice shaking. Officer, I told you, he wasn't scamming anyone, she said. I was gratefully stopped. He told me not to drive the car. Ma'am, with respect, you don't know what he was planning, Keller said. We'll handle it. Across the highway, traffic was slowing as drivers rubbernecked. A teenage boy in a parked car had his phone held high, recording everything. Miggs could feel the scene slipping further and further out of his control. I'm not resisting, he said, forcing calm into his voice. I'm cooperating, but I have somewhere I need to be. My sister's citizenship ceremony starts in 40 minutes, and I'm supposed to speak. Please, just call the base. Enough, Griffin cut in. He seized Miggs' arm, fingers digging into the starched white fabric. Turn around and face the car. Hands on the hood. Miggs froze. Is that really necessary? He asked quietly. I've shown you my ID. I'm standing here in uniform. Griffin leaned in until their faces were inches apart. What's necessary is that we make sure you're not a threat. I don't care if you're in a clown suit. You move when I say move. He spun Miggs toward the patrol car, not violently enough to knock him over, but rough enough to humiliate. The metal of the hood was hot under Miggs' palms. Somewhere behind him, someone gasped. Sir, please, the older woman said. This isn't right. Ma'am, step back, Keller ordered again. This is police business. Miggs' throat tightened. He thought of his sailors, of the way he lectured them about professionalism, about how the uniform demanded composure. He thought of his parents who'd crossed an ocean so he could stand where he stood now, in white, with wings and ribbons earned over almost 2 decades. He swallowed hard. With respect, officer, he said, the way you're handling this is not professional. Read the ID properly. Call the number on the back. It's all there. Griffin scoffed. Oh, we're getting lectures from pretend officers now. You got an answer for everything, don't you? Keller flipped the ID case open again, this time more annoyed than curious. What's the base again? He asked grudgingly. Naval Station Fairview. Public Affairs Office number is on the back. Or you can call the Regional Operations Center. They'll confirm I'm on leave and authorized to wear this uniform. Griffin rolled his eyes, but pulled out his radio. Dispatch, this is Unit 24. Run a check on a supposed Navy ID. He read the numbers off, barely disguised as mocking. Card shows Lieutenant Commander Miguel Navarro, service number. Static crackled. The dispatcher on the other end paused longer than usual. Unit 24, repeat that name, she said. Navarro, Miguel, claims to be... Miguel Navarro? Another voice cut in, surprised. This is Sergeant Diaz at the station. Did you say Lieutenant Commander Navarro? Griffin frowned. Yeah, he said slowly. You know him or something? There was a murmur of conversation on the other end. Then Diaz came back on, sharper now. 24, that's Lieutenant Commander Navarro from Naval Station Fairview. CO called in this morning. He's the base's senior aviation safety officer and liaison to our department. He's supposed to brief the chief next week on joint training. Why is he on your radio? Griffin's face slacked. Keller's grip on the ID case loosened. We stopped him on Route 7, Griffin said, glancing at the man in white pinned to the hood of his car. Got a call about suspicious activity. Thought the ID might be fake. On the other end, Diaz swore softly. You need to let him go, she said, immediately, and you better hope he's in a forgiving mood. Keller's cheeks flushed red. He snapped the ID case shut and stepped back from Miggs as if burned. Griffin quickly stepped away from his shoulder. Sir, you can, put your hands down? Miggs straightened slowly, turning to face them. His expression wasn't furious so much as deeply, bone-deep disappointed. Somehow, that made both officers feel worse. So, now you read the ID. Lieutenant Commander Navarro, Griffin began, voice forced polite. We apologize for any misunderstanding. We received a call, and you made a lot of assumptions, Miggs finished for him. About me, about my uniform, about what someone who looks like me is capable of. He took his ID back, sliding it into his pocket with careful fingers. The older woman stepped closer, chest heaving. This was ridiculous, she said to the officers. He was helping me. You treated him like a criminal before he opened his mouth. Ma'am, we have procedures, Keller started. Your procedure seems to be, see brown guy, escalate. The teenage boy with the phone called out from his car. Just saying. Griffin clenched his jaw. Turn that phone off, he snapped. Public road, dude. My right.
Miggs held up a hand. It's okay, he said. He looked at Griffin and Keller, letting the silence hang for a moment. I've spent nearly 2 decades teaching young sailors not to cut corners, because corners kill people. I thought, foolishly, that professionalism was universal. But what I just saw? He shook his head. You didn't care about facts. You cared about how fast you could make the world fit what you already believed. Keller swallowed. We had a report, and you never considered that the caller might be wrong, Miggs said. That the story in their head might not match reality. You went straight from, this looks strange, to, this man is dangerous, without a single question. You grabbed me on the side of a highway in full uniform when I was trying to prevent this lady from getting hurt. He turned toward the woman. Ma'am, I'm sorry you had to see that, he said. If you still want to tow, I can call base roadside assistance. They'll be faster. She nodded quickly. Thank you, she said, and thank you again for stopping. Behind them, another siren wailed, this one familiar to Miggs. A dark sedan with government plates pulled up behind the patrol cars. A man in a suit stepped out, tie slightly loosened, ID clipped to his belt. Commander Navarro, he called, striding over. The chief told me you might be on this highway. Everything okay? Griffin's shoulders slumped. Who are you? He asked, already dreading the answer. Special Agent Collins, NCIS. We're coordinating next week's joint training with your department, the one on bias, de-escalation, respecting partner agencies. Ring any bells? Keller suddenly looked like he wanted the asphalt to swallow him. Sir, we were just stopping our primary instructor on the side of the road, Collins finished dryly. He glanced at Miggs. This what you meant when you said we'd need extra work with this department? Miggs let out a breath that was half laugh, half sigh. Something like that, he said. Collins' gaze hardened as he looked at the officers.
"You do realize," he said slowly, "that harassing a commissioned officer in uniform falls under about 6 different complaints I really don't want to have to file?" Griffin swallowed. "We're aware," he said quietly. Collins looked back at Miggs. "You want a file? We'll support it. Chief already on edge about community relations. Body cams will not be kind." Miggs looked at the older woman, at the teenager with the phone, at the drivers still sneaking glances. He thought of his sister, pacing nervously in a civic center lobby, checking the doors every 2 minutes to see if her big brother had arrived yet. He checked his watch. He still had a shot at making it. "I want them at the training," he said finally. "Front row. I want them to watch every second of the footage and then look me in the eye when we talk about what went wrong. That'll do more good than a stack of paperwork." Collins nodded slowly. "We can make that happen," he said. He turned to Keller and Griffin. "You heard the man. You'll be in that room. Bring your notebooks. And maybe, between now and then, think about why you saw a naval officer in dress whites and decided fraud instead of maybe I should read the nameplate first." The officers nodded, chastened. "Yes, sir," they muttered. Miggs gave them one last measured look, then opened his car door. "Officers," he said, "next time you see someone in uniform, any uniform, maybe start with, 'How can I help?' instead of 'hands on the hood.' You might be surprised who's actually on your side." He slid behind the wheel. Collins hopped into his sedan, rolling down the window long enough to call, "I'll text your sister you're on your way. She's been worrying." As the 2 cars pulled back onto the highway, the bystanders watched them go, the story already retelling itself in whispers. He was Navy. They thought he was fake. Did you see their faces when they read his ID? At the Civic Center, Carla would see her brother rush in just before the ceremony, uniform still immaculate, face a little tighter than usual. She'd ask, "Traffic?" and he'd say something like that, kissing her forehead and promising to tell her later. And next week, in a stuffy training room at the police department, officers Keller and Griffin would sit in the front row as the big screen played body cam footage of them grabbing a Filipino Navy officer on the side of the road. They'd watch themselves ignore an ID, dismiss a stranger's help, and see the moment their own faces changed when they finally read the words Lieutenant Commander and United States Navy. And they would regret, instantly and deeply, that it took a laminated card and a rank to make them see the man standing in front of them.
Thank you for watching to our Badge and Justice stories. If you want to watch more stories like this, click the videos above. See you again tomorrow.